So today we'll be talking about local SEO, boss it in 1 hour. So I'm going to try to fit everything I can into 1 hour or less. I'll leave some time for questions and answers at the end. So if you do have any questions, please pop it into the chat as we go through. You don't have to wait to the end to ask it, but we'll wait to the end to answer them. So just so it doesn't interrupt the flow. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat as we go. And I will go through them at the end. So what we'll learn today is how to get more visibility and traffic to your local business. And again, my name is Gabriel Abote, and I'm at Hike SEO, the SEO manager there. And with over a decade of SEO experience, I can't wait to share with you some experience about how to get your local business on the SERPs in Google. So let's get going. All right, so welcome to all of those who are new to Hike, that have never heard of Hike and have jumped on this webinar from social media. Welcome to you, as well as existing Hike customers. Warm welcome to you as well. So all of you. So again, pop your questions in the chat for those just coming in, and I'll answer them at the end. So quick intro to Hike SEO. So Hike SEO is an all-in-one SEO platform for small businesses and agencies. And it's super beginner friendly and empowers the user to easily take control of their SEO and start getting more organic traffic to their site. So Hike is an amazing platform for that. And it's driven by an action engine. So it gives you real-time recommendations as to what you need to action in terms of on your site, in terms of on-site, off-site. And it also gives you an estimate as to how long that fix will take. And that's perfect for the small business owner who's really busy, doesn't have much time during the week, but wants to make an effort in the SEO space and make a difference in those few minutes that they do have available. So it's really, really useful, and it's made to be super simple. Even if you've like no SEO experience, it's amazing. So stay tuned. I want to make you all aware that at the end of this webinar, I'll have a special offer and a prize that you don't want to miss. So please stay to the end if you can. If you have to rush off for something important or urgent, that's fine, but please stay, because there's going to be a lot of great content in here. So what we'll learn today is who this webinar is actually for, the fundamentals of local SEO. We'll be talking about local keywords as well, and how to best find those keywords for your local business. We'll be talking about local citations and directories that you can be listed in for even more exposure. And then we'll have a question time, frequently ask questions, any questions that are specific to you, and we'll go through it. All right, so who this is for. Basically, any local businesses that have one or more physical locations. So that means, let's say you have a restaurant, or you have a local flower shop or whatever. It could be pretty much any business out there that has a physical presence, or you have an office, that you have a location that people can have meetings in, things like that. Or it's for local businesses that have physically serve one or more areas, such as plumbers, electricians, handymen, builders, etc., that actually come to different locations. They might have a van that they travel to and service clients in different areas. So it applies to them as well. Now, obviously, the opposite, who it's not for, local SEO is not for purely online businesses. It's not for businesses that don't serve people in person. And it's not for businesses that are national and international that just want to appear local, but actually aren't. So if you're any one of those, this might not be the best webinar, but if you are a in-person business, whether it's a physical location or you have a service area, this is perfect for you. So stay tuned. So let's dive into some local SEO fundamentals. So these are the basics that you want to have set up. And the overarching core thing that you need to have in place is Google Business Profile. formerly known as Google My Business, but it's called Google Business Profile. You can basically create a free account on google.com/business and then go through the prompts and set your profile up for free. And this is where you can add essential business information that you have, anything from phone number, address, business name, things like that. You can also list products and or your services. So it depends what your business offers. Maybe it's both. So you can list them on there for additional exposure. You can add photos. Let's say you have a venue. You can take pictures of different areas and put them on there. You can add your business logo, have a cover image that, is to your branding and whatnot. Really make a space for yourself online. You can create posts, almost like a mini blog. You can have offers. You can promote events. Let's say you have like in-person events or even virtual events that you have for your local business in that area. That's fine. You can promote events there. So lots of things. You can also collect and respond to customer reviews, which is great. It builds credibility and trust over time, which will get you more and more customer base locally. And you can also send and receive direct messages as well, which is super useful when you're communicating with a client, or customer has a question, they message you, you can go and respond and serve them in that way. And you can also post answers to frequently asked questions. Why is that important? Because there's so many questions that your customers have. You know your customer best, so you can basically pre-answer them, and they can go to your Google Business Profile and read through it. And again, if they don't find it on there, they can always message you. And then over time, you'll be adding to your FAQs to make it more and more valuable. All right, so those are the key things that Google Business Profile can offer you, which is really useful. Now, I want to point out in Hike SEO, there's actually a Google Listing Manager, which basically interfaces with your Google Business Profile and allows you to manage it all in one platform. So it's super useful. You can update your photos, your cover photos, your information. You can manage everything in there. So you don't have to leave Hike at all to do that, which is super useful. Here you can even manage your reviews. You can see what reviews have been left. You can see the sentiments, like if they've been positive, negative, etc. And then you can respond to them directly within there. You can also schedule new posts or events or offers within Hike, and it gets pushed straight to your business profile, which is really useful. You can also check out your local actions. So when Hike basically crawls your site, it will actually also look at your local presence and give you some actions as to what you need to do. For example, like adding tracking links or add a cover image, or maybe if you haven't added any images recently, it'll suggest to do that. So this is really useful if you want like a to-do list in a way of priorities and what you need to get going. So all really good. So you can manage directory listings as well. You can monitor your local search performance, and you can view local rankings and engagement as well. So you can check out all those features and more at hikeseo.co/local. So let's talk about local SEO keywords. So basically, these are search terms or phrases, for want of another word, that are specifically targeted toward a local audience. And these keywords include location-based terms, such as names of cities, towns, neighborhoods, counties, even postcodes or street names, different areas of varying size and scope, that basically identify an area where that search is meant for. And I'll give you some examples in a moment. So we need to distinguish between two types of local keywords, implicit and explicit. And I'll tell you the difference. So implicit local keywords are basically search terms that do not directly mention a specific location, but they're related to the local context. So what does that mean? Here's an example so you understand what that is. So for example, best coffee shops. So someone would be searching that obviously to find the best coffee shop near where they are. So it's implied that they're looking for the area where they are right now. or top Thai restaurants, for example. And wherever they are located, they're looking for the top Thai restaurants. Flower shops near me. So the near me term comes up a lot because it basically says wherever I am right now, search this, which is in this case, flower shops. So here's an example, best coffee shop. So in that location where the screenshot was taken, where the search was done, these are the following local cafes that popped up that are in that vicinity. So you can see that Google knows based on varying things or factors where that near me location is. So what are those ways? Well, there are 5 ways that Google actually determines implicit location. Firstly, the device location. So if you have GPS turned on your smartphone, if you have location services sharing to your app, then it will basically tell you exactly, tell Google Maps or Google exactly where you are so you can look in that area. It will also look at labeled places. So if you use Google Maps and you've labeled certain areas that says your favorite restaurant, your favorite cafe, things like that, it knows that you've been in that area, maybe even recently, and knows to possibly look there. Saved home address. So if you have saved that, it will know that that's where you live. So it will most likely look around that area. Or previous Google activity, if you've been searching while you're on the move and things like that, then that's also a data point for Google. And then finally, IP address of your internet connection. So let's say you're on a mobile network, it will know roughly where you are based on where it connects, or if you're on a Wi-Fi, again, it will know roughly where you are based on the IP address and the internet service provider. So all of those things used individually or in conjunction with one another will give Google and their map services ideally some ideas where you are when you do that search. All right. So let's talk about explicit keywords. Obviously, it's opposite. So it's basically a search that includes the location-specific terms within the keyword phrase. So obviously, examples would include best coffee shops in London, or top Thai restaurants near Regent Street, or flower shops in Westminster, for example. So we know exactly where we're looking, in what area, what town, what city, that we're looking for these things. So that's really easy to identify, obviously. So here we go. Again, I'm going to search flower shops in Westminster, and it zooms into a part of London here, and it shows you all the local businesses in that area that match that term. So pretty simple. We've all done this before, either on desktop, mobile, or combination of. Now you might wonder, how local are these phrases, or how local should I go, or how local can you go? There's different scopes. So search phrases might be of just a city or a town, for example, London. It could be directions. For example, a large city like London, you might refer to different parts of the city, like North London or South London or East or West, or even in London, we talk about Northeast or Southwest London, etc. So big cities might have used directions like that, or smaller ones might just use north, south, east, and west. You might also refer to different areas. So London, Kensington, or London, Westminster, or things like that. So you can break up a city into different areas. You might also have postcodes or zip codes in the US, but you can have, like, let's say in the W8 postcode, you might be looking for a specific restaurant or specific shop. So you can search that. Or even if you want to go very detailed, you can look at streets, exactly, street names, especially if it's a high street or well-known street, you might want to look around there as well. So a lot of different scope factors and local identifiers, and it all depends on where you are, what you're looking for. But when you're doing your research around search terms where your business is, think about all of these scope levels. Like, think of major streets, think about the postcodes, the main postcode areas, the different areas of the city. Maybe if it's a big city, what area you are. Are you in North London, for example? Obviously the city, maybe even if you want to scope out even bigger, you might want to talk about the county that you're in, something like that. So it all depends. And these are all combinations that you can use to find keywords people are searching for. So hike SEO and keyword research. So ideally you use a tool that comes up with all these search terms. So here, by using hike, we can actually put in a seed keyword and then see what kind of keywords that relate to that. So in this case, I put emergency plumber London, and that's kind of the local search term I want to look at. And it comes up with lots of different keyword variations. Comes with the search volume, the difficulty score. So basically difficulty is how hard will it be to rank for that keyword in Google. So lower obviously is easier, higher will be much harder to rank for. And you can do your keyword research there, and it's really easy. And then you can track those keywords as well over time. Super simple like that. So yeah, really useful tool to do that, especially for local keywords. So what do you do if you have multiple locations of your business? Let's say your business has is in multiple cities or multiple areas of a city. You might want to create location-specific service pages, especially if your offerings are different across those different stores. Now here's an important warning: is not to use template content. So not to use like a template or a boilerplate page and just copy, find and replace the city name with the other city name, or for example. So rather make each page as unique and relevant as possible to that location, because ultimately Google wants to know that you're providing an excellent user experience. And ultimately that's what you want to do. So when someone lands on that site, on that page, they want to know it's relevant. They want to know that it's useful and helpful in that moment. And if it's just a boilerplate content where it's like pretty obvious that you just copy, like found and replaced the city name, it's not that relevant. But if you make it relevant for that city, for that location, maybe the history of that specific store in that place, that's more unique and more valuable than just having the same page but duplicated across different locations. So here's an example. So the Wagamama's restaurants, they have so many different chains and stores, but when you go to their specific, like let's say a specific place in Winchester, UK, if you actually go on that page, you see that they've actually customized it quite uniquely. So they have obviously the city name in there, but then they talk a bit about the city right here. If you scroll down, there's a bit more about that specific area, et cetera, et cetera. So it's quite unique. Even though the template looks the same and the structure is the same, that's okay, but the content does vary across these different stores. So that's something to keep in mind. So another example is, let's say you have a bicycle shop and you might have different services in each of those stores. So one store might not even have one service and others might. So for example, in this case, all the stores have the same services, which is fine. Across London, Manchester, and Birmingham. So for each of those, you want to create something unique, like maybe talk about the bicycle repairs in London and how that started and where it's located, how to get there, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe talk about that area a bit. Maybe talk about how, I don't know, maybe that specific part is quite dangerous to bicycle in, so you might want to talk a bit about that, et cetera, et cetera. So just make it unique. That's it. And this is how like the structure could look like. It's not like the only way you could do it. You could just do it by location and then talk about location of the store. But you can also split it into services if the services vary quite a lot. Now this is where you come to keyword mapping. So obviously you want to map keywords to specific pages. So in Hike, you can actually do that quite easily. So under the keyword mapping tool, you can basically add the pages or see the pages that you have on the site, and then assign keywords to each one that basically you want to rank for that's relevant to that page. So you can add one or more in there, and then that will allow you to track that page over time, see the performance. It will also give you kind of a summary as to how closely related it is to it, using AI suggestions. So it's really smart, and it basically gives you some guidance as to whether keywords are good or not good for that page. So super useful. So definitely check that out. So let's have a talk about local citations and what they are. So basically they're mentions of a business's name, address, and phone number, or NAP as it's often referred to, as well as additional information on various websites, directories, or platforms. So yeah, you want to have all those are the three core things that you want. And basically allows you to list your website, your business on different platforms, and allow people to find your business info outside of Google, but also on Google, but through more prominent sites. So here's an example on Yelp.com. So in this case, I'm searching for takeaways or takeouts in London, and you can see all of these local listings that pop up, and you can go through them, and they have all these information. So the basic information that's required, like I said before, is the business name, the business address, and the phone number. That's the core. Anything else is in addition to that and is great to have, but these are the three things you must have. So in this case on Yell.com, I'm highlighting the name here, the address, and the phone number. You can see there's other things like the website, business reviews, add the map, things like social media, things like that on there, but this is the core. So additional information that you can have on these types of citations are the website URL, opening hours, description, the industry category, directions on how to get there if it's difficult. You can even have photos, links to social media profiles, email address, and even like in this case, even industry specific things like in the restaurant category, it allows you to list the menu items, which is cool. You see the website, you have photos, opening hours, tons of different, even like the pricing, how expensive it is, tons of information in here. So it's really good to explore the directory or the citation that you're going to be listing through, depending on your business category, and seeing what you can add. So try to add as much as you can, because the more information, usually the better. And that will allow customers to make a decision whether it's something that they want to come to and visit. So there's two types of local citations. The first is structured citations. So these are standardized mentions of the business's name, address, phone number on directories that are specifically designed to display local business information. So they often include additional details, just the business category, hours of operation, website links. So what you just saw like previously, those are structured citations. And those are the most common as well, seen on directories and things like that. So you can see these on listing sites, directories, social media platforms, and it just provides a really easy to search and organized way for both search engines to like categorize that info and verify business, but also for users to like filter through results and find what they're looking for. So here's another example on Foursquare City Guide. So again, the layout, the template is going to be pretty much the same across all the businesses, and it will just be of you filling in that info. So the next one is unstructured. So these are like more casual mentions of a business's name, address, phone number, or other identifying info on the websites. For example, blogs, news sites, forums, apps, maps, government databases, where it's just casually mentioned. There's no real structure to it. There's a bit of, ability to like mention it how you want to mention. It might be a blog where a business is referred to or discussed, but it's not like a formal directory or listing format. So what makes it valuable is based on obviously the website's location, if it's a local business that's mentioned it, if it's relevant to the industry that it's in, the authority of the site, how much traffic that site has. It's almost, yeah, all of these things come into play in unstructured citations. So here's an example on a blog that, lists, let's say, the top 10 restaurants in the area. And it talks about, so number 10, it lists the business name right there and also the business address down here. I've just magnified that so you can see. And this is a unstructured citation because it just casually mentions it, but Google and other search engines will pick up on those terms and those addresses, and it will know that a local business like this one has been mentioned here, and that counts towards, the credibility of that as well. So other types include search engines such as Google, like Google Maps and things like that, Bing, Apple, all of these ones have also local business information. Primary data aggregators such as Foursquare, Data Axle, Newstar, Localese, all of these are like aggregate lots of different information together for local citations. Also owned properties like your own business website, where you can list that information on the contact page, for example. That's also important. You also got other major directories such as and platforms such as Facebook, Yelp, Yell.com, things like that. But also geo or industry specific platforms such as Chamber of Commerce websites, professional associations, let's say like for chiropractors or counselors, or certain guilds like, I don't know, the Carpenters Guild or things like that. So lots of, things like that to also be aware of, that you could list your business if it's relevant. So on Hike, also you have a listing manager, which is great. So you can actually go through that, find out all the citations that Hike recommends to submit your business through, and then submit it through there, or actually go straight to the link to the site and do it. And it will basically check the consistency of that information across all of them. If there's inconsistencies, it will flag it up. If it's correct and matching to your actual business information, it will be correct as well. And then basically you can go through there. These are by no means are like all of the ones you could do it. There's hundreds and hundreds out there, but it's a great starting point, and Hike will help you to get a good foothold into the local SEO as well. So definitely check that out. So yeah, here you just enter your website and you can proceed step by step. So what's the difference between a citation and a backlink? Well, you might think they're quite almost the same, but they're not. So backlinks, they're basically hyperlinks pointing back to your website from another website, and they contain anchor text that gives some context to where the link leads. So it could be like, learn more about this local Thai restaurant, and then it leads to that Thai restaurant, for example. So that's backlinks, which is basically links. While a local citation is the text with the business information, such as the name, phone number, and address, the NAP, and it may or it may not contain links. So that's the key, because you might have a website link to it, but in the unstructured one that we just saw about that restaurant, it didn't have any links, but that's still local citation. So where do you actually secure these local citations to help boost your local business in the search results? Every country may have different aggregators, different directories or platforms. So you might want to do a bit more research, but I'll start with a few just to give you some heads up and some starting points. So here we'll get started in the UK. There's mirror.co.uk directory, there's yelp.co.uk, there's botw.org.uk, UK, there's House, there's Silex, there's Free Index. All of these are good starting points. There's a few more: Scoot, Nextdoor, all in London if you're London-based business, Euro Pages, Hot Frog, Find the Needle. All of these are great. Now, if you're in the US, here are 3 primary aggregators you might want to check out. Express Update by Info Group, Newstar Localese, and Factual. So those are good places to look at as well. Other common platforms include Foursquare, Better Business Bureau, Local Works, MapQuest, Yellow Pages, Angie, and City Data. Those are also ones you can check out, and Manta as well. And then there's obviously a lot more out there. So how do you discover it? Well, I'll give you a little kind of hack to do that. So you can use Google or other search engines to discover platforms just by searching the location that you want, Chamber of Commerce. So let's say it's London, London Chamber of Commerce, or the location plus business directory. So it could be London Business Directory, or location business listings, for example. So London business listings, for example. So you can do that. And then in Google, you just go through that list and find the ones that match, and then submit your business through there. So next steps. That's it for the content. If you, for those of you here who haven't tried Hike SEO yet, you can sign up now here to get actually 50% off. If you go to this URL and complete your details, so hikeseo.co/W50, you can actually get 50% off today. Really useful. So anyone who signs up within the next 1 hour after this webinar through that link actually is entered to win a 30-minute one-to-one SEO consultation with myself. So I'll go through your site, give you some insights on how to improve it, things like that. So it's really, really valuable. So one of the people today who sign up will win that. So that's exciting. So if you win, you'll get an email from one of our customer support outlining how to claim that. So definitely check that out. So also any existing Hike customers on this call who are in monthly plan but want to upgrade to annual, just make sure you just go to the customer support and message them to upgrade, and you'll be entered to win the prize as well. So within the next hour. So definitely, guys, if you don't have the link, just type it in to hikeseo.co/W50 and sign up within the next hour, and you'll be automatically entered to win a 30-minute one-on-one SEO consultation. And I'll be delivering so much like insights. You'll be like, wow, there's so much to do, so much opportunity here for me. And then you can also explore Hike. We have so many tutorials on how to use it. It's amazing. So definitely check that out. All right. So question time. I'm going to go through the chat here and see who has any questions. Okay. Hello, and thank you for doing this. Well, thank you for being here, John. Are you going to share these slides? I can do, yep. What I'll do is I'll pop the link of the slides into the description of the video recording on YouTube. So once the YouTube video recording goes live, the link will be in the description. So we'll send that out. So content should be unique to each page. However, can the website template be the same? Yeah, that's fine. Or each service have a unique. No, I think the template is fine because obviously you need to have some sort of structure on your website. Like you're going to have a page for your location, and you're going to have obviously the title, you're going to have maybe a little map, things like that. So the structure, fine, but just change it up, make it as unique as possible. It doesn't have to be like 100% unique, but make it as unique as possible that matches and is relevant to that location. So yeah, that's fine. Can you get Google Business verification on a virtual office? So like I said, so Zahir, so like I said, Google Local is like a local SEO is for actual local businesses. If you're completely virtual, Google doesn't really support that as a local business. So yeah, so you might have a hard time doing that. You might, even if you have like a local office. You could technically, if you have like an office, get that verified, even if it's not like customer focused, like you won't not necessarily gonna have meetings there. You could, and then that could be as listed as a local business. But if you're just purely online, let's say you're working from home, and you don't have an office, then that'll be very difficult. How do you deal with suspended Google business profile listings? That's a great question, Kyle. So basically, it depends on why it was suspended in the first place. I would definitely look at, the message Google sent you as to why it was suspended. If they didn't provide a reason, I would definitely reach out to their support and ask, why, and then ask them what can you do to rectify that, so that you can get it back online or create another one. So that's really important to do. So yeah, definitely go to their Google Business Profile support as well. John, if I am both local and national, can I use a page to target a local area and use the other pages for national? Yes, of course. So let's say you have I don't know what business you have, but let's say you have a local shop, but you also sell it nationally, that you ship out products, or you also like travel to different parts of the country to service clients, or whatnot. That's completely fine. So yes, you can have a Google Business Profile for that. And you can have location specific pages on your site for those areas, and also make it clear that you also service like the rest of the country as well. Nicole, will the Zoom recording be emailed? Yes, it will. It will be emailed to everyone who has attended this webinar. Fred, I used the keyword research tool to find relevant keywords for my client's website. When I assign the keywords to different pages, I often get the message from Hike that the keyword ranks on Google for a different page, but that keyword is relevant to that page. What to do? Great question, Fred. So sometimes it can be a case where Google might rank a different page, which we may not deem relevant to the keyword we want it to rank for. So then what we want to do is either two things. We either go assign that keyword to the other page that's already ranking and tweak it and adjust it, and make sure it's different enough, or we assign it to the page we want it to rank for, make sure it's optimized, and then check the other page that's already ranking and change it so that's different enough, so it doesn't really target that keyword. You might even want to, well, it depends. If you want to keep it there, you might even want to unindex it for a bit and then have that new page start ranking for it. The key here, Fred, is you want to make sure each page is uniquely targeting a specific keyword or topic. You don't want any overlap to occur. So if they're really closely related, there's a chance where Google might get confused as to what page to rank, because it's really closely related. It sees it almost as the same thing. So you don't want to use like keywords that mean the same thing, but they're different. Like technically they're different, but they mean the same thing. That's the same thing. So you want to make sure that they mean different things. Patrick, I have just opened up another shop in the same city. How do I go about getting Google to verify and show both businesses on Google My Business? So you need a separate Google My Business profile for each local business. So in Hike, for example, you can manage multiple Google Business profiles. And let's say you have 3 shops in a city. You would need to create separate profiles and then verify each one, because they're different addresses, right? So you need to do that first. John, how many keywords per page? Great question. So with Google, it's not necessarily like the number of keywords, it's the topic focus. Because there can be like, you know, a page could rank for like 20 or 100 keywords, but it's focused on one specific topic. So think of it that way instead. It's much easier to think about it like that. It's more helpful to think about it like that because Google's algorithm is about semantic search, which means the meaning behind the topic. Okay, so let's say you have a page about, I don't know, bike repairs. Okay, so the topic is bike repairs. There could be so many keywords for that. There could be like, you know, bicycle repairs, bike repairs, repairs for bikes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know, so many you could rank for, or what is bike repair, for example. So that's that. Then another page could be like, I don't know, could be bicycle tires. Okay, so then that's the topic that's focused around there. Again, there could be like multiple keywords that rank for that or target. But you always pick a primary one. What's the root? What's the key? What's the primary keyword for that page? So for example, the bicycle repairs page, it might be bicycle repairs. You might find that that has a good balance of search volume. You might find that it has a low competition score and it's really relevant to the page. So great, you have that as a primary one, and then you might have secondary keywords that you also want it to rank for as well. So you can add those too. So primary, what's the main one? What's the main topic, the core focus, and what are the secondary ones that are closely related to that? And then make sure each page doesn't overlap, that it's unique enough in topic. So yeah, number of keywords. If I would say a good rule of thumb is have one primary and let's say an average of 3 secondary. So let's say 4. Namiz, absolutely. You will get a recording of this. It will be uploaded and ready tomorrow on YouTube. So we'll email everyone for that. Okay, great. Does anybody have any other questions about local SEO while we're here in live? Or anything specifically about their local thing? Okay, Patrick just messaged. I have a website through Wix, but my pages through the page experience on Google Search Console is really poor, with around 70 pages rated as poor on the mobile, but good on the desktop. I have optimized each photo and removed video from the mobile, but cannot get the rating up as most is Wix-based HTML. Can I do anything else? It's a good question. So it really depends on what the signals are that is, you know, causing it to be rated as poor. If you've optimized the images as much as you can, have a look at like any add-ons or scripts that you have on the page, because sometimes that can slow down loading, especially if you have a lot of JavaScripts, yeah, or plugins or anything like that that can slow down loading. Again, things like you're right in saying like you can't really modify much in, let's say, Wix or other managed places, such as, you know, Squarespace, Shopify, things like that. It's quite hard to do that. So you can only do as much as you can and then look at what they say from there. So yeah, definitely look at exactly what Search Console is saying about why it's slow. But you can also do like a page speed insights using, you know, Google Page Speed Insights tool, or use GT Metrics, GTmetrix.com. Again, a great speed tester, and you can see exactly what might be the issue there. So yeah, thanks, William. That's great. So 50 free websites to list your business. Fantastic. Thanks for providing that. There's so many out there, so you can definitely go there. Elizabeth, if I can't see any actions under local actions for citations and hike SEO, does that mean there's nothing for me to do? Not necessarily, Elizabeth, but that's a good question. What you need to do is just check out if your Google business profile has been filled out completely, like all the information fields, everything. Check out go on Google on your phone if you're local, or your computer and search some of the keywords that you want to search for, see if it shows up, check out Google Maps, how it displays, things like that. And then you can start seeing things, the citations pages. Definitely go through all the citations that Hike recommends, but also start listing them through other platforms as well. Ideally, you could even reach out to some local businesses in your area and see if you can, if they would recommend you and maybe have a mention on their website or something like that, especially if you're a smaller community and small businesses will support each other like that. So yeah, definitely go through the checklist, and then anything else on Hike will cover like a broader SEO, which will be really useful and support the local SEO. You got to have the core foundation of SEO done and sorted, and then local SEO kind of sits on top. It's that little bit extra to make your business appear locally as well. Chris, I have a client who sells holidays to one destination in Europe. The client's business is based in the UK and they have a virtual office. They sell all their holidays via their website and to customers all over the world. Can GMB be used in any way to increase traffic? Or is GMB not valid for this kind? Yeah. So if it's completely virtual, then I would say no. Unless they, let's say, have an office somewhere where clients can come in and, let's say, book their holidays. If not, then I would say the local SEO is probably not for them, and they need to find other ways to promote their business through SEO, possibly focusing on more generic terms. For example, that location, holidays, or specific locations that people are looking for. So yeah. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for like the awesome questions. This is a really good questions. Anyone else have anything else they want to ask? This is the time. Oh, anyone, while we're at it, does anyone who hasn't joined Hike yet, have they signed up? If they have, or anyone planning to sign up today for Hiked to give it a try? Totally cool if you can't answer now, but definitely go to hikeseo.co/W50 to get that discount, and also be entered to win some consulting. All right, well, I don't see any more questions, so that's completely fine. I will stop this webinar in a moment, and I just want to say thanks everyone for joining and spending your time this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world, to learn about some local SEO. And if you do have any questions, please do reach out to us. You can also message our Hike support team. They'll get back to you really quickly. And look out for the email for the recording, and then you can check it out there and comment as well. So wish you all a wonderful rest of your day. And I will speak to you, well, hopefully see you on the next webinar, and hopefully see you in Hike as well.